I need all mine. Today we're gonna do some G Perico. What up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories.
I never stopped banging. I started banging hard, then I got so hard till it was a shame.
Today's episode takes place in the year 2000, LA County Jail, downtown LA. Now, after I catch my case, bail out, I go back to jail, they send me to Wayside. Wayside Maximum, and that's where I met Papa T from BL, Head from Six Deuce Brim, Border Rat Twin from Inglewood Family, and I knew Biggs from the Jungle and another dude from City Stone, right? I don't think it was Little Perry, but it was one of the Perrys. I introduced myself. I'm Big Kev Mac, and yell out my set. This Westside Rolling 60 neighborhood crip. Head from Six Deuce approached me and was like, "Hey, youngster, I like your style. We need you up in here. Song with the Mexicans up in here. We need you, homie. We need somebody solid like you, man." So anyway, I go to my bunk, put my shit on my bunk, make up my bunk and shit, and I feel somebody staring at me. So I look up, I look to my left, a couple of beds over, this tall, dark nigga with murder braids. You know what I'm saying? Looked like he was really with the shit. And he offered me a soup. I'm hungry as a motherfucker. Ain't no steak up in this bitch. I gotta eat that motherfucking cup of noodles. So I accept, and we get to talking. And he tell me that he know Big U, and it's all good from there, right? So he turned out to be Papa T from Five Deuce Pueblos.
kevmacvideos, you know, this is for sure.
And that's where I first met Papa T, and we became good friends. So while I'm in Wayside, we get the news that Big Dulo from NHP was killed. Head from Six Deuce Brim, man, he was acting as a big brother or a big homie, and he was constantly telling me I was gonna beat my case. He kept telling me it was gonna get thrown out because he had a case similar to mine. And one day I go to court, and I run across the homie Shadow again. And Shadow's telling me that one of the supposed to be homies is hating on me, saying I'm not facing no 3-strike case. Well, what do I have to lie about that? All you gotta do is look up my case. I had the paperwork on me at the time. Anyhow, rolling right along. While I was in prison and my mother had passed, my sister came to visit me, and she informed me that she put the house in her name. This way, my father couldn't do nothing slick, and UCLA student loan couldn't put no liens on the house. So I was cool with that. Since I'm facing all day in prison, I had my sister take out a loan on the house to hire Bob McNeil as my lawyer. Bob was the best lawyer I probably ever had. It took some convincing for him to attack the lieutenant on the Miranda rights and an order of his position in the line when they raided the house. Nevertheless, it all worked out. It felt like it took forever, but it really didn't take that long to beat the case or have the case dropped. And now they send me back to the county jail. I go to the 9,000 floor, 9,300, and now I'm housed with a bunch of youngsters. So this is a trustee dorm on the 9,000 floor for whatever reason. This is the first time I really had the keys. I got the keys to the blacks and the Southsider. It was Wino from 18th Street. He would holler at me on the different issues that was going on, you know what I mean? And I'm not running across no green light problems, not even hearing about the 60s versus the Mexican Mafia, none of that shit. Like, that shit done went away. And I'm also given the job of the head guy in the kitchen. I don't know how to cook, man. I don't even think you would like my penitentiary spread. You might not even like my oatmeal or my grits. But I'm the lead cook in the kitchen. And so I'm running that. Everybody's up under me as far as it's my crew. And, you know, I tell everybody what to do, how to do it, how we gonna function and all that. But, you know, every now and then you get a dummy that don't even know how to stir eggs. So I'm on that big ass pot stirring the eggs and shit, you know, make sure all the inmates can eat their breakfast before they go to court and all that type stuff. So it's a dude up in there from NHP, dude from 10 Deuce Raymond, dude from Legend, dude from Pacoima, Peru, dude from Long Beach, dude from Broadway. Shout out to G Perico. And just all these different characters, different hoods, nobody's deep, nobody's running nothing. Again, I got the keys to this. I'm taking care of everything that we supposed to take care of. Everything's going smooth under my watch. And one day this dude comes in, and dude from NHP wakes me up. Kev. I'm like, what? I hear a little bit of commotion going on. And he said, one of your homeboys in here. I'm like, what? I jump up, I look around. I said, I don't see none of my homeboys. He said, yeah, Tiny Kev. I'm like, where? I'm like, dude, right there. So I look, and I see Lil Spider right up there in his face. So I recognize dude's face from up in Windsor Hills. I go holler at him. And he tell me he's claiming Tiny Kev. He know he not from 60s, but he thought he would get a pass by claiming the hood. He tell me he had some static with some Fortray gangsters or whatever. They rolled him up or whatever. And I'm telling dude, just don't worry about it, man. You good up in here. And I'm kind of like feeling some type of way about the way Spider was all up on him like that. You know, that's how youngsters get down. But I'm like, you didn't hit me up. You ain't said nothing to me. So I'm already looking at Spider a little funny. Dude from NHP kind of introduces me to him and everything. I'm like, all right. Spider is this brown-skinned dude, very talkative and combative, short, got a little bit of weight on him. Not muscular weight, just a little bit of huskiness to him. And he's about 7 years younger than me. All them dudes up in there, basically, for the most part, was about 5 to 7 years under me. So that contributes to everybody looking up to me for guidance and asking me how things go. And, you know, a lot of that played its part. So one day I'm in the bed asleep. Now, I worked the night shift. So I worked from like 12 a.m. to like 8 in the morning, something like that. So I'm asleep during the day, the early part of the morning and day, I'm asleep. So one day I'm laying in my bunk, I'm on the bottom bunk, I'm kind of in the middle of the dorm, somewhat the middle of the dorm. You got room to my left and room to my right. And I hear this dude from 10 Deuce Raymond and a dude from Legend praising the guy. And I'm like, man, y'all hold that down. Now I hear Lil Spider over there talking to him, and Spider is giving it up for the NHPs. Mind you, I sleep right next to an NHP. Cool dude. He was a twin. I don't remember his name. I think his last name was Robinson. Cool dude. And I just don't want to hear it, man. I'm cranky. I need my rest. Man, y'all hold that shit down. So Lil Spider, he walks over to me and he like, what's up? Nigga, what's up? And he like, oh man, you know, we just having conversation. Well, y'all having too much conversation, too loud conversation, and I don't want to hear that shit. I'm not really understanding this is an Inglewood thing, and that the guy had just passed, so that's why he was so fresh on everybody's mind and being talked about in a praise-like manner. Now they praising Taco. And it's just a little frustrating to me. I guess if I was part of the conversation, it may not have been so stressful for me. But I'm trying to sleep, man. I'm tired. We could talk about this shit when I get up, or y'all could just hold the conversation to a minimum. So Lil Spider asked me, you know your homeboy, baby mom. Yeah, that's my homeboy. So now Lil Spider is telling me how he done beat my homeboy up on a boat party and broke his leg. Now, I don't know. I gotta rub my eyes on this. Am I still asleep? Is this a nightmare or what? Like, who is this nigga in my face lying like this?
Baby Bone, also known as Crip and Sam, was one of our elite fighters. He was known for fighting. When he was a teenager, he went to jail for murder. He grew up in the YA system. He was a YA baby. He had hands the size of Sonny Liston, and he was about 5.5 years Spider's elder. And he was taking all fades.
So now we talking, we going back and forth. It's a real sarcastic conversation. I'm being sarcastic, he being sarcastic. But he's kind of like being rebellious. That's how I take it. Because ain't nobody in there talking up to me. Ain't nobody in my face, ain't nobody challenging me. This is me up in here. So now I got another reason to feel some type of way about Spider. I really want to get off on him, but everything's so cool up in there. And like Monster said, like Bam from Front Hood said, man, when you got that power, you don't really want to release that power. I don't want to go to the hole or get moved out of this situation over basically nothing. It's just the fact that I think homeboy lying and I think homeboy is putting down my homeboy. So that's strike two in my mind. So one day I'm minding my business and Spider walks up to me and he say, OG, can I holler at you? I don't see no OGs up in here but dude from Pacoima, Peru. He's like, no, man, not like that. I want to holler at you about something. I'm like, all right, might be important. Might be a racial conflict going down. Who knows? So I holler at him. And he tells me he know who I am. Oh, wow, really? How you know me? So he tells me he know where I live at. Man, what's up with this dude, man? This dude keep coming at me with what I think are lies. And now he tells me, you live across the street from the school. Yep, that's me. Why? What's up? And then he starts to tell me that he's road dogs with the guy, rest in peace. And he's road dog with Tricky, basically my nephew now, nephew-in-law. And I'm like, oh, all right. So, man, that's cool, Spider. And then he tell me, he said, man, he said, I used to come by your house a lot. Here he go lying again, man. You've been by my house a lot. I would have seen you. I would know you. Then he say, nah, man, we used to be coming from Inglewood, going to the V&Gs, and your house was on the way to V&G Hood. I'm listening like, yeah, you right. Like, he knows something. And I'm like, yeah. And then I tell him that my niece messes with Tricky. And he said, yeah, I know. So he already know who I am. I don't know if he made a phone call or whatever, but he knows all this and he says my niece's name. So now I'm like, all right, I'm all ears. I'm open to whatever he has to say. And I'm asking him, when was he coming over to the house? And he tells me that they stopped at 54th a couple times, him and the NHPs, him and some family, and bust at me. And now I'm like, oh shit, because it's dawning on me, all them pop shots, the mysterious shooter, questioning myself if I had PTSD, if I was tripping or not. And so I'm like, man, what? He like, yeah. He like, one time we was going down 54th and we seen you out in the front. We went around the corner and we came down 54th and bust. This information gave credibility to Spider and his claims. All right. And now I'm thinking, okay, Spider ain't really cut out like that, because if you know where I live at, you know who I am, why y'all didn't just pull up to the house and get off on me? Why y'all always shooting at a distance? So the way Spider tells me, He's not putting this on the guy. He's not putting this on Tricky. He's keeping it open. And he tells me, he said, man, he said, a homie used to be stalking your niece, man. So we was always coming by there. He said, man, we seen you out there so many times, man. And the homies just wanted to get you. I'm like, why they want to get me if they stalking my niece? He said, I don't know. Was it some 60 blood shit? I don't know. What Spider, what was going on? He said, man, your niece, bro. Your niece had niggas sprung. So now I'm thinking, okay, he's talking about both of them. You know what I mean? I never asked him directly who. I was trying to get it out of him without directly asking him. Because frankly, I didn't give a fuck. And the guy has just passed. And Tricky is family. So it is what it is, man. When it's almost time for me to be released, I tell Spider, hey, you want to take that fade with my homie Baby Bone? And Spider like, yeah. He like, I know where Baby Bone be at. I know him. I'm like, I thought it was just a run-in. But come to find out, these two dudes actually knew of each other. They actually knew each other. And he wants to take that fade. So when I get out, I hit Baby Bone up. I say, you know Lil Spider from Inglewood Family? Yeah, I know him. He said he broke your leg. He whooped your ass and broke your leg. Baby Bone said, man, that nigga lying. I'm going up to the barbershop in Inglewood. I'm going to beat the brakes off that fool. And I'm like, yeah, he said he want to squabble you. So when you see him, do what you got to do. And Baby Bone like, man, this fool can't fight me, man. I'm like, I already figured that. Like, I could tell by his stature and your reputation. I don't know his reputation. But I know he couldn't hang with you. You're like, man, I'm going to get that fool. So one day, Baby Bone called me, and he tell me he just seen Spider. So they had their run-in, but nothing happened. I guess Baby Bone checked him or whatever, or Spider stayed down. However that went, there was no incident. So now I feel kind of twisted because I done gave Baby Bone the info. I'm trying to get Baby Bone to squabble this dude. And I find out that Spider is hanging with the homie Lil Smurf in the hood. I actually feel a little bit twisted, man, because normally I don't run my mouth like that. I just thought the fact that Baby Bone would put hands on him and give me some closure, it would be over with. But now that I find out the homies is messing with Lil Spider, I really ain't tripping off Lil Spider. That shit is over with. Now after I finish my violation, I get out, I go home. My sister is messing with this pastor of Price Chapel AME named Terrence Stone. They end up getting married and all that old stuff. So my sister has diabetes real bad, always fainting, falling out, wrecking cars, up under the desk at work, all that weird stuff. And she has been diagnosed with a rare brain disease. She has to have brain surgery. And this guy's supposed to have this good ass insurance. She got to go all the way to San Diego to have this surgery because there's a specialist out there in San Diego. Well, one day I see some papers on the table and I be a little bit nosy. I pick the papers up and I see his Stone's earnings for the year and, you know, his job. And man, this dude worked at FedEx and he was making less than minimum wage. He was working part-time. And it must be a definition called part-time. Because he was only working like 8 hours a week. He's working like a fifth of normal hours. He ain't making no money. Hopefully the church is bringing him home some money. Now one day I come home, my nephew got all these new shoes and new clothes, and my sister and her husband and my nephew, they going on a cruise. So I'm like, damn, sis, must be nice to go on a cruise. I see all them clothes you bought. Where you getting this money from? And she tell me that she works real estate for a friend of hers named Regina, and she hadn't been getting paid, And so all her back pay came in. So she has all this money because her back pay came in. Like, oh, okay. Because I knew it wasn't coming from him unless it came from the church. Man, I couldn't stand this preacher. And I'm gonna end up whooping his ass if things around the house don't get right. Y'all gonna have to tune in to part 3 to get the rest of this story as I bring it all together. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to leave a comment. Comments went up in the last video. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm out of here. Salute.
Sitting reminiscing about the days of way back.